What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? AJ Good here at the House of Masks, where we unbox and review up intros every single day. How do I my own intro up so often? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? AJ Good here at the House of Masks, where we unbox and review cool stuff almost every single day. And guys, we're getting a new Slipknot single tomorrow. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Yes, I can. Are you excited? Yeah, probably. Am I excited? Of course. So let's hop on into a video about that single and what we can expect, what we've heard so far, what we want out of it, just all the details surrounding the Chapeltown rag so far. Now, the Chapeltown rag, wow, what an interesting name. Downright weird if you ask me, and it got me pretty curious. What the fuck is a Chapeltown rag? So I decided to do some research, and with the help of my girlfriend, I was able to come up with some stuff. Now, Chapeltown is a suburb in Leeds, England, and Slipknot are no stranger to Leeds. And apparently there was a serial killer there by the name of Peter Sutcliffe, who had somewhere around 23 victims. Now, some of these were just attacks, they weren't actual deaths, but there were at least 13 confirmed murders. Now, Mr. Peter Sutcliffe was dubbed, wait for it, the Yorkshire Ripper. Pretty infamous, right? Not to be confused with Jack the Ripper, although this guy was some sort of, I guess like a copycat killer, like he did things very, very similarly. So I guess he was paying homage to Jack the Ripper. There was also a lot of other bad luck that seemed to happen in Chapeltown, such as some crazy ass riots around the same time that this guy was out killing people. But regardless, it seems like Chapeltown has some pretty bad luck. Now, true crime isn't really my thing. I don't really care about that or get into that little subgenre of entertainment, if you will. However, I know that a lot of people out there are into it, so I figured I would throw in that little tidbit since I was so curious about the name anyways, and it ended up being something true crime related. I still don't exactly know what the Chapeltown rag means. I don't know what the rag reference is, but it does seem pretty clear, at least to me, in my opinion, that the song title, the Chapeltown rag, has something to do with the Chapeltown in relation to the Yorkshire Ripper or these riots or just this string of bad luck. As for the rest, I don't know. Just thought that that was a little interesting fun fact. Now let's talk about the song itself, because we've gotten quite a few little snippets, little teasers, and they sound pretty cool to me. So I think what we can expect based on these teasers are clean production, of course. Slipknot's production has gotten cleaner and cleaner through every single album, and I think that the biggest example of this was the last album, We Are Not Your Kind. It was so clean, it was downright pretty. The production was something else on that album. It just gave it a whole new feel, and I really, really appreciate that. I really do like hearing clean Slipknot in all of its crystal clear form. So if they follow in suit with the We Are Not Your Kind album for this record, I will be very, very much okay with that, and I would definitely welcome it. Next up, throughout these snippets, we hear fucking blast beats. I absolutely love Jay's use of blast beats, and I know that Joey was a big fan of blast beats. I believe one of the first blast beats I ever heard was in People Equal Shit. Although Joey didn't incorporate a lot of blast beats into his music, I specifically remember an interview where he talked about loving blast beats. So for Jay to utilize these as often as he does and kind of bring them to the forefront of metal, being that he's in one of the biggest metal bands of all time, and definitely the biggest metal band on the planet right now, is very, very cool. Who knows how many people he's exposing to blast beats, just like Joey exposed people to blast beats way back in 2001. We also hear some marching snares in one of these snippets. Something very reminiscent of the marching snare in Psychosocial. The list goes on and on. This is nothing new for Slipknot, but it never gets any less cool. And I think that what we hear in this snippet, the marching snare mixed with something that Craig or Sid is doing, is very, very rad. And that brings me to my next point, which is letting Craig and Sid shine. Some of my all-time favorite pieces of Slipknot music are done by Craig and Sid. I love the use of samples. I love noise manipulation. I love DJ scratching. Pretty much anything that those two people in the band do, I absolutely love. They have been some of my favorite parts of some of my favorite songs, especially in recent years. The negative one, even just Corey's vocals being fucked with and manipulated with that fuck. Fucking awesome. Love that shit. And it sounds like we are going to get that. The first snippet that I heard sounds very, very reminiscent of the Eyeless intro. So yeah, anytime Craig and Sid get their chance to shine, I am all for it. We get 2 snippets at least where we get to hear Corey kind of speak singing, but he speaks singing over something that sounds very reminiscent of Scissors. Nothing but bells and cymbals, and it just sounds fucking sick. Really, really like that. And the last thing that we hear overall is that this sounds fucking heavy. Who doesn't want their Slipknot to be heavy? So all in all, this sounds very, very promising, and I am once again on the Slipknot hype train. Very, very excited to hear this. I do believe that this single is going to be an all-out lifestyle single where we're going to be waiting quite a few months, maybe even close to a year for the actual album. They're in the middle of a tour, not playing any other songs from what would be this album, and not to say that after they drop this Chapeltown rag song that it won't be incorporated into the set list on this current tour. However, typically when a band tours promoting a new album, they will be playing at least a couple songs from that new album. Now I know that it's Slipknot and they can do whatever the fuck they want, but to me personally it sounds like we are just getting a single to hold us over. We have been missing Slipknot for years due to the pandemic, and they had pretty much just dropped and started the album cycle of We Are Not Your Kind when the pandemic hit and everything got shut down. So I think that they are going to ride the We Are Not Your Kind wave a little bit longer and just give us something to hold us over for now. And honestly, I'm okay with that because I don't think that we've gotten enough We Are Not Your Kind anyways. I'd really still like to see where this album cycle goes. I would like to grow with the album cycle, and I would like to get hyped up for a new album cycle. So yeah, could they drop that album here in a couple months? Absolutely, they're Slipknot. They can do whatever they want. But me personally, I think that they're going to drop this single, ride out We Are Not Your Kind for a little longer, and then we'll get a big actual album release, kind of like we did with All Out Life to the We Are Not Your Kind album. So all in all, I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Let me know down in the comments what you're expecting, what you want to hear from this new Slipknot single. You comment, I'll read, and we will go from there. Now, thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and until next time, this has been AJ Good here at the House of Masks telling you to say no to drugs and alcohol and yes to new Slipknot singles, and we will see you later.